Hello, I'm Emran I SBC, and he's Noah Tadeli. The SBC World Cup show continues. Our round of 16 fixtures continue. Japan, Croatia. Croatia move on. They beat Japan in penalties, finished 1-1 within regulations and extra time. And Croatia move on in penalties. Um, I'm gonna go first with this game because I thought this was a very interesting game, honestly. I thought this game kind of went exactly how I thought it would go, honestly. You know, Croatia Japan, for stretches in that game, were the better team, especially in that first half. They deserved that 1-0 up in the first half. Their set pieces were good. They got players up in the box. They played the more front foot game, and Japan was taking it to them. They didn't wait till the second half like they did against Spain and Germany to make that tactical switch to attack. They attacked from the get-go, and it was really nice to watch. They played some good football. And they got their goal to break it through. I think Croatia looked a little bit stiff in that first half, a little bit, I wouldn't say outmatched or anything. They just, they were getting a bit outplayed. But then second half came, and then I knew at the end of the half when Japan can score that goal to make it 1-0, I know Croatia were definitely going to get back into the game. When you have the experience of Perisic, who completely bossed that game, Modric, uh, Brozovic, Kovacic is just a very experienced team, a talented team, and they played the Croatian way. They're professional winners. They got back into themselves with the goal. I think Perisic scored. Yeah, they got their back. They got themselves back in it with the Perisic goal, and they just seeded throughout. It's a bit edgy, and the last few minutes of full time was both teams really edging it out, and it seemed like the penalty shootout. It seemed like both teams were kind of okay with penalties. Croatia, they took out a lot of their best players, a lot of their older players because, well, they can't play full 120 minutes. Took a lot of, nerve from Zlatko Dalic to take out Kovacic, to take out Modric, to take out Perisic, his three best players, or three of his best players, not his best, but three of his best players, three of his more experienced players that's been there all the way since the 2014 World Cup. He took them out. Um, I brought in some younger, fresh legs throughout the game. And I really thought this was a professional win. And the only way Japan was winning it if they got it through regulation or extra time. When the penalties was over, I knew it was Croatia's all the way. Croatia has won multiple penalty shootouts in the World Cup last year. Usually it's the more experienced team that wins because penalty shootouts at the end of the day, it's not a it's all a mental. It's all mental. It's not luck, but it's all mental. Who has the mental strength? And Croatia, their penalties were excellent. While I'm not gonna lie, Japan's was very poor. The three penalties they missed was poor, and Croatia's goalkeeper made three hell of a saves too, guessing the right way on each one. A lot to credit him too. I don't want to take credit away from him.
I think Japan, they played well in the first half. Their goal was well deserved because in that stretch of time, in that first half, they just kept testing them more chance after chance. And it was just a matter of time before they scored. And then when Croatia came back in the second half, Perisic's goal, it was a tough header considering that he just used a lot of power. And once he got in the back of the net, it was just game on. And in the penalty shootout, Japan just looked like never been there before. And Croatia looked like they did. And the penalties are so poor. They didn't like make the goalkeeper really like stretch. It was just right there in front of him.
No, I know
And
once it got to penalties, that was Croatia's all day, every day. They're experiencing those penalties. They always in these knockout stage games, they're never out of it, but they never actually take the front foot and completely dominate teams and destroy them. It's always all the way to the end. At the last Euros, the round of 16 game they played all the way till extra time, finished I think 5-4 in favor of Spain, 5-4 or 5-3. And the knockout before to reach the finals against France, they took England to extra time. They went to penalties against Russia in the quarters. In the round of 16, they went to penalties against Denmark. It's kind of how the Croatia, they're professional winners. They don't have the most talent. They don't have the talent of the England, the France, the Spains, the Germanys, not the Germanys. Well, yeah, even the Germanys or the Brazils. But they have the professional way. The team has a professional spirit of winning that keeps them in these games, and they get over the line because they have that clutch factor with them. So it's a good win for Croatia, and it creates a very, very Very, very interesting tie with Brazil.